When I was a little girl, I would see my mom and dad take a puff of their cigarette. They would light that match or light that lighter, and then they would light up their cigarette. And in my 7-year-old mind and my 6-year-old mind, I knew that they would feel a sense of relief. Now, I didn't have the word relief in my vocabulary, but it's very interesting the association that was made in my 7-year-old mind that when mommy or daddy lights up their cigarette, they're going to be able to relax. And this actually is so significant because we never know what associations kids are making when they see certain inputs and certain outputs, certain actions and certain outcomes. They're interpreting the situation, and we don't know what associations they're making. And so I say all of that to say that your child is watching how you handle stress, and they're watching the ways that you relieve yourself from the stress that you're experiencing. Could it be that there is a healthier way for you to manage your stress? And if it is, show your child that way so that you can be an example of what you require instead of an example of someone who's demanding something that they have not demonstrated. And when you do this, as you do this, you'll find out that there is so much more available to you because you are allowing yourself to modulate the stress arousals that you experience. Each and every one of us have neurobiological windows of tolerance for stress. Each and every one of us. And the way we move through that window determines how we deal with stress. If we step out of the window, and this is coming from the book written by Elizabeth Stanley, PhD, Widen the Window. When we step outside of that window, it's because the emotional intensity and the stress is too much. But when we're in that window, we can make more sound decisions. We can actually take those steps to make the sound decisions. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because each and every one of us have vices. We have ways of dealing with stress. It may not be smoking. It could be eating. It could be drinking. It could be video games. It could be whatever it is. But just know that your child is watching you. And if you don't have children, but you work with children, they're watching you too. And you're teaching them not only who you are, but the best ways to handle stress for you. Now, they always have a choice. They may not recognize they have a choice when they're watching you, but I encourage you to look at the things you turn to immediately so that you can determine what is the most beneficial route when deciding what's the best way to deal with the stress. So what do I normally turn to? And then what would I rather turn to in that moment of stress? And sometimes you're not enough motivation to make the change. Sometimes it has to be something outside of you. So make that child, make that young person your motivation. Make that inner you your motivation. That way, you can make a conscious decision to deal with your stress in a better way because we need you and we want you at your best. Contrary to what society says, we need and want you at your best, not at your worst, but at your best because we love you.